That was the only one wearing headphones right there. That was loud.
Tried to manipulate it.
I can hear the playback. Very cool.
Echo.
All right, well, so much for the intro with finding out the man. Smart TVs are a pain in the bells.
They outsmarted you today.
No, I just didn't get around to it. I kept having people pop into the store, so I didn't get a chance. We had to redo all the internet connections throughout the store and reset them. So, yeah.
It's funny how people end up showing up to your store. What a bummer.
Well, dude, if you get a cool like lull in the day, to where things mellow out and you can get a lot of other things done. And today was not that day.
Well, good for the store.
Well, good for the store, and it could have been a fair amount of procrastination on my side also.
It was raining yesterday. Everyone that wanted to go get stuff yesterday probably came in today.
Yeah, it was busy from the very beginning of the day until like the last hour. So what's going on? This is the Jake Podcast, jakepodcast.com, the Bachelor Pad Radio, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. We are live.
Matt live.
That's
Podbean.
right. What's up, buddy? No, I really haven't been messing with Podbean until we actually start ripping audio. There's no sense with the video. And I think we're going to focus on iTunes anyways.
All right.
Just go with the big spots and leave the other ones behind.
Sure. Makes sense.
So what was your take? You said you saw quite a bit about the mayoral race.
Yeah. I just caught it before I came in tonight, and they just had it's a one-time only debate, a minute and a half each, then a 30-second rebuttal, then you get another 30-second rebuttal on the other side. So.
Did they keep it classy, San Diego?
No, not at all.
No,
they Coleman Young Jr. the second is going against the mayor that's in there now, Mike Duggan, and it was just if anybody knows Detroit, or does want to research, look up his dad, and Coleman Young Senior or whatever we call him. He was real corrupt, and he's real shady. He did some nice things for the city, but he at the back end he shadied it.
Is he shadier than Kwame?
I think you could basically Coleman Young would be the godfather.
Okay.
Like taught shady.
Yeah. And then everybody, and there's still people in that Coleman Young regime.
Yeah.
Detroit was bad. But his son came in and was just throwing some stupid jabs at Duggan. But the best part, Duggan kept saying, one instance about, hey, we passed certain bills, and he goes, well, Coleman Young, you're a senator, you're up in Lansing. And on one of the, it was an important bill he was talking about, something like helping people, financially or so. I forget what it was. I apologize. But basically, at the end of the day, he said, Coleman Young Jr., you weren't even there. You were AOL at the thing. And how are you trying to help the city when you're not even showing up to work? Oh, yeah. It was nice.
What was his rebuttal to that? Did he have any?
He said it was a spin. Oh, look at he's spinning stuff again, and here we go again. And
well, it's all a game. It's all just a banter.
Right. But Duggan, honestly, I mean, he was the white mayor. I don't even know if he was the only white mayor. I had to look that up. But he's really doing a lot for the city. He brought the city back. I mean, he's really revitalizing. I mean, after hearing all the stuff that he said he did and doing the research, he's brought like 20,000 jobs. So
you think Junior doesn't have the chance here?
Even with his last name, it's just he's already marked, and I just think he's just like his dad. I mean, it sucks. I mean, I'm probably stereotyping or making it, using his dad's name as a,
I think Detroit's moving in a pretty good direction right now. Yeah. It's become less of that, you get the suburban, mom fear when they talk about it. It's kind of dying down. It's more of a spot to be. It's kind of more of a cool place. It's kind of, doing what Ann Arbor did.
Yeah, they're bringing it back. And like I said, Duggan listed all the things that he had accomplished and brokered meetings and brought people in. There's some big dog names that he brought to the city. So, I mean.
Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoy going to Detroit, and, especially this year. I've gone there a few times, and there's a lot of good spots.
Yeah, I like the city. I go down to the city twice a week at least, maybe or 3 times every 2 weeks or so. But we go down and eat dinner all the time. Try to find a new spot to go down and
Cafe de Mongos. That is the spot. Grand River and Griswold.
You said that. I never heard of it.
You got to. And that's the point. The gems, like it's not going. Let's go to the Hard Rock.
No, we don't go there. We go to the small off the wall places. But that's one of the places that I didn't hear.
Google it. You've got a computer in front of you.
What is it?
Have you guys
Cafe de Mongos?
Have you guys been to the? You probably have. Probably the newbie to it. But have you guys gone to Green Dot before?
Green Dot. No.
It's like Green Dot Stables. It's
Yeah, I know of it. I don't really get down and do much down there, but
really good. They got like a whole. It's pretty much like a sliders, and they're all like custom, so you can get like all kinds of weird stuff. They had this one like Thai one, and it almost tasted like pancakes. It was really weird, but they got a whole bunch of different sliders, a whole bunch of different sides, and they're all really cheap, so you can pretty much build it up. Like they're like $2 to $4 per item, and then you pretty much just build up to your meal. And then they got every drink you can think of. Is a nice big open bar, and it's really beautiful inside. If you ever get the chance, I'm pretty sure it's over on the west. It's right by the Ambassador Bridge.
Okay, yeah, I I don't get down to Detroit nearly as much as I used to. I mean, I do nothing, dude. I travel in a 4-mile radius for everything I do. But if there is, a concert show, and Cafe de Mongos is only open historically on like Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
But with the popularity and everything that's going on down there, there's a fairly good chance that it's.
I'm trying to see where this is.
It's right on
I'm noticing that building, but I don't know that.
Grand River and Griswold. It's right across the street from where Bazooki 2, my old club, was.
Oh, okay.
Directly across the street from it. And it's an old school speakeasy.
Yeah, it says that right here.
It's it's gangster themed. It has prohibition papers in there. It has pictures of all, the Purple Gang, all the stuff that's localized, and
my grandfather was in the Purple Gang, FYI.
And some of the questions that were asked back in the day, quite regularly were like, dude, what's a black guy, having, like a speakeasy or a cotton club? Why would you choose that theme for your, business and restaurant? And, historically, when you look back at it, the first, the very first places where, where black artists, were given the ability to play for mass audiences were in the gangster-owned, cotton clubs through New York and, through those areas. So the cotton clubs, and speakeasies were, predominantly, jazz and, all the, the early, black music and whatever. So it was kind of, it makes sense.
Yeah, we had Motown down there. That was the spot. It's a really good city to explore because there's always something new that you've never like. Right now, he goes down there 3 times every 2 weeks, and he has no idea what this place is. There's always some cool gem you can find every time you go down there if you really look for it.
And then you get the old ones. Gaslight. You got Whiskey, the Whiskey Nancy one, and that one's supposed to be the oldest bar in Detroit. Whiskey Nancy
Whiskey,
or is that obviously? Yeah. And then they didn't have a. They don't even have they're so old. They don't even have a liquor license. It's some grandfathered in.
Your
thing.
Mama's so old,
right?
Why did it sound like the beginning?
Your mama's bar so old she don't have to have a liquor license.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, there is a lot of cool stuff, and it is weird how even when you live in the suburbs, you still resonate with the city. Yeah. Like even though we don't have a hand directly in, Detroit politics or the goings on of Detroit, because, we can't kid ourselves. The city center is turning into, corporate dollars are pouring in. You've got this, but you get into the suburbs. The east side is still riddled with problems.
Yeah,
the west side is still riddled with problems. So that's the biggest thing in the mayoral race. When I hear people talking back and forth, that okay, that's cool, but where's the jobs and where's the city safety? And they do have street lights and trash is being picked up regularly, and it is a shame in a first world country that we have to talk about some of our cities that trash isn't being picked up. There are no street lights. things are flooding and we just don't deal with it. Or snow removal.
Yeah, or the contrary, that we have to give it those bullet points to a neighborhood like, wow, they got streetlights and trash pickup now. Wow, what a great place.
I might start looking over in that area. Yeah, it is a trip. And another thing in our local, I guess maybe we're starting out a little bit on our what's going on, Detroit wise, but Kid Rock did come out on Howard Stern and say, dude, let's, who are you kidding? I'm not actually running for Senate.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, that's a load off of a lot of our shoulders.
Well, dude, I'm literally done with anyone who doesn't have, maybe a smart person, street smart and whatever, but politics, it's like checkers and chess. Yeah. Right? You've got the theory that you bounce here and you move the checkers around. But when you get into playing chess, there are other things that you can't move this because 5 spaces down, if everything's moved correctly, checkmate, right? You have to, it's a different ball game, and it's a shame that it's not as transparent as it should be. But we can't just put laymen in to these positions that nothing they're going to do other than make, people happy and yay, I like your music, and you're now, going to write laws or you're going to vote on things that you may not even know. So,
I think it's a cool idea, right, in theory, but, just because it's nice to have that refresher, but I don't think that the right people are going for it, and that the educated people, there's certain biases. Once you live that rock star lifestyle that you have in your mind, you aren't the regular citizen anymore, and that's that even goes to career politicians now. 80% of them are all millionaires, so.
You've got a different worldview than but I mean, coming from nothing, but he actually did, and his parents were car barons and in the sake of owning dealerships and doing stuff like that. So it wasn't the Eminem story. But I do like also, you did see the senators. There is a lot of backlash against Trump right now, and the one gentleman from Arizona said, no, I'm not seeking re-election. Mm-hmm. And he pointed out, that, look, we have to do better, and whatever is going on here in this scenario and with everything else, he was like, dude, you can't tell untruths and not own up to them and not deal with this. This is not the way this country is supposed to go, and I believe we'll get back to it. And it's been just a laundry list of people actually saying, oh my God, thank God somebody's coming out.
Well, one of the biggest issues is the fact that you're such a loose cannon that you do these things and it becomes like a social issue, and we're talking more about the justifications of what he's saying, politically correct, and the off-the-wall crap that he says, than we are actually focusing on actual policies and laws and whatnots.
What the hell's going on outside?
Oh, ambulance just went past.
Yeah, there's a lot of shenanigans going on out there.
But yeah, we get, it's such a media regime, it's entertainment, right? This country has become a laughingstock politically, because everything now, ever since Trump's been in office, has been a theatrical crap show.
And the horrible part of this is half of the country wanted this and they're okay with it. And when you're dealing with a majority rules, it is getting to a tipping point that 50% just, I don't care, and fake news. Dude, if I look at any news story that comes out with a reputable, that I've already double checked it, and I first comment I see, fake news. Yeah. Of course they'd say that about him. I'm dude, it shows you how gullible everyone is in this world without fact checking and without looking into things.
Well, it also kind of plays into the whole blindly following, and you get into, I'm not gonna try to use the Hitler analogy a lot, but that's part of that rise in that political career, is you get all these people that have such an emotional connection to their why they support, him, that they kind of blindly and will, even if they know they're wrong, will justify and fight for it, right?
But see, I don't know if some of these people believe or know they're wrong.
No, they don't. That's the biggest issue.
But if you took a wide viewpoint and you just went, okay, let's all take IQ tests, right? IQ test as 1 point to know who you're dealing with, right? Because you can talk to somebody, you look normal and whatever, but you're not that smart of an individual.
That also kind of played into when the election was happening. I think it went off of, because it doesn't always our voting system is a little weird in the sense that if 800 people or 8,000 people live in this city, it's going to have the same poll as 80,000 people living in a more just because of how it's delegated and whatnot. I think every urban area that had schools, businesses, the universities, they were all completely flop-sided to the more rural Republican side of things. And it's kind of interesting because when you bring up IQ and you look at these areas where there's a lot of revolutionary stuff going on in colleges, Harvard, it's kind of weird to think, okay, what is going on differently in everyone's minds? Is it really an IQ thing, or is it environmental? What's the biggest difference?
Well,
that's separating?
and the documentary I told you, I powered through like 3 documentaries the other night, and one of them, in college, in universities, and it was the place where the Kinsley Institute, talking about the the perverted sex nature and all this.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't agree with the guy, I didn't agree with every one of the the people that were there to protest him speaking, because they didn't agree. And granted, everything has been an argument over the First Amendment, and they didn't agree, so they would go out of their way to to chant, didn't want their viewpoints heard.
Mm-hmm.
They're not there for for an open-ended conversation, which if you can talk logic, you can thwart somebody and their jacked up viewpoint.
Yeah.
Because you display your forehand knowledge, they display theirs, and if there's no factual science, or you don't have the ability to deductively reason through your argument, then cool, you kind of win, right? Everybody that's listening. But when you quiet or silence anyone who has an opposing viewpoint than yours, just because you don't like it or it's unfavorable,
mm-hmm.
is the whole reason why we need to have these conversations.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the senator, Senator Coker, the GOP senator, Trump is an utterly untruthful president. He came out also with the guy, Senator Flake. And then you had another gentleman, Wolf Blitzer was talking to Senator James Reichs, and he was talking to him, and he was like, okay, well, what he said here was not true, and what he did here was not this. And he was like, yeah, well, why aren't you saying something about it, right?
Right.
Why are you not saying anything about it? And he was like, well, that's just not my way. I just, and he kind of took him to task and went, wait a minute. This man is blatantly lying or saying this, and this is untrue, and then argues about it and is found out, and then other people are coming to his aid. You do understand that this is our government. You are a senator. You are a seated senator. You should be outraged by this. And no, I'm just going to sit back.
You got to play the game that the opposing team is playing as well. I mean, you have to at least have your voice projected, because that's what the narrative is right now, is how loud can this guy scream what he believes, and who's going to blindly follow that. If you bite your tongue, especially when you have something like refutable claims against supposed facts that someone's saying, then you're kind of just at fault. You're equal party fault there.
Yeah, and the one thing that I do like is everybody is is getting more conscious about it. So the fact that you have Republican governors or senators, they just can't keep quiet anymore. And this was not the path of the Republican Party. Right. And I do not subscribe to this. So to me, it's a little ray of hope that some of these things are actually being talked about. And I mean, dude, it's ridiculous. So you're all right over there, Matt? You still looking at naked pictures, or what's going on?
Okay, just reading.
He's reading naked
stuff.
Pictures.
Reading Braille.
Trump stuff.
Rump Shaker
Yeah.
magazine.
Rump bumps.
Rumpshaker.com.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was another thing. So to me, it's good that they're having these conversations, that some of these things are going on, and people in the parties, and it's not just Democrats. It's it's Republicans that are like, yeah. I can't even be cool with this. Like this is not the way it's going. So how it all plays out, I'm not 100%, not 100% sure, but
I mean, the best thing to think about is we got at least half the people pissed about it. That's warrant for something to change at some point.
Yeah, we've got to get back to. We've just got to get back to business. This is shenanigans.
Yeah, no one really cares. That's a big issue as well. We're just kind of along for the ride. And I mean, that's understandable when you have a country this big and you get caught up in your own life. A lot of people just don't want to pay attention. They don't even want to tune into the madness.
Yeah, well, and that's the distractionary techniques where we just kind of we've got enough distractions and we've got enough things that we don't really, I've got my iPhone, I've got this, I've got that. I'm just going to power through and do my,
right. I'd rather focus on something that I need to get done than what, someone tweeted, what a world leader just tweeted, right? I that's, quandary that I face now. It's like, do I pay attention about these stupid tweets every day? Do I actually focus on this and avert energy and time into it? But right. It's hard not to, because if you don't, you kind of just let the world happen around you.
Yeah, no, you have to. And look, I'm not out marching in the streets, but I'm trying to stay as socially conscious about everything as I possibly can, which hasn't always been the case, but right. Today that's kind of how I start my day.
Yeah.
Other random things in the news. Did you see the Einstein's basically his small writings on how to live a happy life? And it's weird, right? Einstein, E equals MC squared, and universal theories, and all the things that he's known for. Kind of a cool little story that Einstein was in Japan, right? And he was in Japan, and it was I guess it was right before he won the Nobel Peace Prize, or whatever prize at the time. So he was staying in a hotel, and somebody had to bring something over to him. So he went to tip the individual, and I guess in Japanese culture, couriers or anyone from that point, no, I can't take your tip.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I've got something. Or maybe he just didn't have small bills or whatever the currency at the time. And I guess he went, you know what, hold on for a second. And he took out his stationery and he wrote a couple things down. One was, in the pursuit of happiness and how to live a happy life and whatever, folded it up. And another one, just another quick little quip-it saying. And he folded it knowing that obviously, his writings and whatever, in years to follow would be worth quite a bit.
Sure.
Folded it, put it in an envelope, handed it to the individual, and he was like, you know what? I have a feeling the paper that I just gave you is going to be worth a heck of a lot more than the small change I would have given you in a tip, right? So this guy's family kept it and held on to it up until recently.
Wow.
And it sold for $1.6 million.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And Einstein wrote 2 short notes, handed them to the messenger. If you are lucky, these notes themselves will someday be worth more than spare chains, Einstein said, according to the seller of the letters. A calm and modest life brings more happiness than the pursuit of success, combined with constant restlessness, reads one of the notes. And then another one of the notes basically said, and it's funny because it's a cliche that we use on a daily basis, which means we're all kind of like Einstein, right? Where there's a will, there's a way, right? So a little bit of weird wisdom from Einstein, and wrote those random little things. And obviously, there's museums and everything in overseas that hold all of his writings and all of his stuff. So this stuff is either going to be find itself to that area, or to just the private purchaser.
Part of me is like, yeah, those are great mantras. The other part of me is like, I wonder if he just knew that those were going to be worth something, and he was just trying to do a favor.
Well, if he's going to win the Peace Prize, he figures, well, it might be something.
Yeah, and I mean, anything that he wrote, he could have drawn a stick figure, a cock and balls.
When did he write that note?
God, what was it? It had to have been in the 40s, I believe, right? 40s or 20s when
1922.
22. Okay.
A bellboy.
Yep.
So 22.
22
so
or
he
40.
died in 55. So when he was born 1875. So he was what? Do the math quick. So that's 20.
Old.
So he was 44ish when he wrote that letter to my man.
Yeah.
And so he was our age. So he's probably been well established by then, right?
Oh yeah, no, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
He was winning the. Yeah, I mean, he was well established, and had just won the Nobel Prize.
Right,
so.
that's what I'm saying. So he's well established. So he already, so yeah, so he's probably like, hey.
No, and he's a smart dude. He was like, here, I'm gonna write this stuff. Hold on to it.
Just
kick it down. You'll be able
There's
to
this
buy.
thing called gravity, and
yeah, no, it's crazy.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, Newton didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah,
I got this. But
he actually called Newton a bitch.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
No.
But it is a weird conversation, because myself, I've over the last 8 to 10 years, I'm going to make $1 million a year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have that one thing. Even when I was doing national sales and I'm traveling all over the U.S. Hustle, run, do everything I was doing was to amass more money to, either buy things or, some idea. What was weird is I didn't have the philosophy really until recently that I went, wow, it doesn't matter. The question like, oh, if I hit the lotto and did whatever, okay, so you'd have a cool few new odds and ends or, extravagancies. But other than that, what would you do? And the core understanding of yourself as a person, I'm going to get up. I'm going to have coffee. I'm going to take my dogs for a walk. I'm probably going to, try and power through a workout or whatever. Crank whatever girl I'm with, and, hopefully it would be one that would hang around because obviously I had enough money, right? Oh, I'm not leaving you, right? So, get up, take the dogs for a walk, have coffee, have sex, not necessarily in that order. Just, F off a little bit, whatever, maybe take a nap, repeat, hang out with your buddies, grab a beer later. I wouldn't do much else.
Yeah.
Right? But part of it is making sure that you've got your bills paid and you've got, so there is rhyme and reason to working hard and working towards something. But I would almost like to outline it, in either a book or a verbal book, even a pod book of sorts. Work, power through, get your house paid for, get all these things. And then after that, you could go work at a goddamn yogurt shop or at Jimmy John's and cut, sandwiches and do whatever. And it's fine. You just going home. Part of what he said in there with, a calm, modest life brings more happiness than the pursuit of success combined with restlessness.
Yeah.
So, a calm, modest life. At some point, not all that glimmers is gold, and not all that really matters.
Right.
Because at the end of it all, dude, just chill out, relax, have a good thing, have a good mellow existence.
Anyone that's ever truly been successful with their own artistic abilities, like writers in general, they know that to go after the money, the monetary success aspect of it is a complete, useless waste of energy. That is the, byproduct of doing what you love to do and being happy at your core, right? Getting it out. A lot of people try to focus too much on, if I had, this bill paid, that bill paid, and I had this car or that house, that, these materialistic things are going to manifest into internal happiness. But that's not ever really the case. You see all the time, everyone bleeds the same. Everyone's still got problems. I mean, the only anxiety and stress that really solves is you don't have to worry about your bills, and that's about it. And you're still gonna have family issues. You're still gonna have relationship issues. You still have to work on friendships. You still have to find yourself, find a meaning inside of yourself. Regardless, that's just things you don't take it with you when you die. Those are just materialistic things that kind of mean nothing without drive and passion in life. I mean,
and I think there's a beginning and end to that, to that passion. Look at Steve Jobs. Did you watch the Steve Jobs movie and read any of that stuff?
I watched both of those movies. Yeah.
And it's good, and it all, at what point, everyone seems to be chasing their next. Like if you have a great season, you're trying to break your own record. You're trying to go for other, records or whatever it is you're chasing. It's kind of random. And I was always chasing it, for either accolades or, any number of things. And right now, like I've gotten to a point, like the philosophy has really kind of, sunk in that, look, none of that really matters. I need somewhere to dock my boat. And by that, I mean my penis. And you know what I mean? I need to dock my boat and I'm cool.
I mean, I look at it like this, right? I'm a musician. If I won the lottery tonight and had, $100 million sitting in my bank account, next week, it's not gonna make me better at what makes me happy, right? I'm still gonna write the same stuff. I mean, of course, I could probably
actually, according to music, popular music theory, that no, you won't. Everyone's music after they gain the money, the garage band Nirvana, Bleach versus their fourth or fifth album was totally different. Pearl Jam and
yeah, that makes sense. That you're right there. You do change as a person, but the process, of making art isn't different. You don't need right. If you have $1 million, you don't need $1 million. You don't need $1 to write something down or have an idea, right?
Sure, but your perspective, especially if there's angst or starving artist and they're no longer starving anymore, your perception, your own personal reality has changed.
In fact, it's probably more of a hindrance, right? Because now you don't have nearly as much issues going on to deal with and to use that as an outlet. It might even hinder you. But that's like a completely different topic. It's just you should always strive for what's gonna calm and make your mind happy. You should never.
The hard part is most people don't know. Like even me, where I claim to be a bit more, introspective than most. This philosophy, I mean, it had teetered. Like it had made its way into my melon a couple times. I haven't really owned it until recently because what do I want to do? Who do I need other, I've got plenty of stories. I've done a lot of things. I don't need one more yeah, man, I created this and did whatever. None of those accolades that I'm going to get from anyone or even me telling it to anyone matter nothing to me. It's like creating something and selling it off. If I create it and I sell it off to someone, cool, it doesn't matter. I got the money. Mm-hmm. Cool, that means I buy a boat or I've got you know what I mean? I really don't care for the, haha, that was mine. Don't get me wrong. If we were sitting around having beers and I go, that energy shot that's going everywhere or whatever, that was mine. I thought of it. Kind of funny story how it was named. It would be good for the three people that I'm sitting around and talking to. But anything other than that, I could care less.
You know, it's also gonna, you know, change per person too. Everyone's gonna have their own definition and legacy that they want to create.
Yeah, but the horrible part is a lot of people never figure it out.
Yeah.
Which that's why having conversation, ding, 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 ding. Just the, you know, having the conversation and you know, having the conversation and you know, it's just weird, you know, getting it out there that, well, that dude, well, what made you climb the mountain and then just, nah, I'm cool right here.
Yeah.
I don't need to get to the top. I built a cool little thing. I've got an awesome view. I'm solid. If the planet floods, the water level won't get up to me, but I don't need to be at the top, you know? And the harsh reality is that not many of us will ever make it to the top. It's like the Casey Kasem back in the day, like shoot for the stars, and you know, even if you don't, you know, or you know, shoot for the moon, even if you don't get to the moon, you still, you know, got in the clouds, or I don't know. It's a horrible. I just bastardized whatever his saying was.
You like aim for the moon, and even if you don't make it, you at least got to the clouds, right?
Yeah, you know, that you got off the ground. You weren't just sitting there, and you know, so. It's weird because think about it, like Matt, you know, if you had aspirations or, you know, things that you wanted to do, I don't know what they are. We don't talk that deeply in general, right? But, you know, everyone's personal what they want. Like you might be like, dude, I want 5 acres and I want it close enough to the city, not off to the city, and I want to be able to go cut my grass and do whatever. But working every day, coming home tired, and now cutting your grass is a chore versus, dude, I want to go out and cut the grass. Right? Like I enjoy cutting the grass. I'll, you know, have a beer in my cup holder, and
well, that's where everyone's definition of that life is going to change, and regardless if you have the money or not, what you love to do is what you love to do. You know what I mean?
I like to do as little as possible.
Well, yeah, exactly. And
that is my end game, is to not have to do anything.
But you're going to do
the whole KISS acronym. Keep it simple, stupid.
You're going to love to do as little as possible regardless of how little you have to do, you know?
Yeah, but I didn't always. You know, I was blinded by trying to – I was kind of blinded by trying to achieve more and achieve more and achieve more. And the Taoist, you know, do less, achieve more.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of plays into the American, you know, analogy, or the, you know, the breakdown of, you know, work harder, work smarter, not harder.
That's right.
You know,
Amen.
And all you have to do is make a few good moves, and if you parlay them properly, but everything is done in the action, right? And this is one point I could bring. Nothing will get done or will get, you know, moved down the line at all unless there is action. Just like me being a Nazi about wanting to do this 5 days a week, right? 5 days a week, content. We've already got ideas of what we need to do and how we can, you know, make money off of doing this, and then doing this, and, you know, extrapolate it in 5 other, you know, areas that we can do things and generate more money. All that's fine, but the core base is doing this. And you driving all the way from where you're driving, right? And yeah, you could be cuddling right now, but you're not. So, you know, kudos to you. You could be sleeping more. I have nothing to do, so this is easy for me, right? I could be doing this in my living room with no pants on. Actually, I have no pants on right now. You guys are like it is good.
Great.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, if you won the lottery tonight and had X amount of millions, we would still be doing this tomorrow, right?
I don't know. If I didn't have a reason to be, you guys would probably have to come to my house. And you would have to like move the strippers and the hookers like out of the way.
We'd all have a remote podcast. We'd just all be a triple screen deal in one house.
Yeah, you know,
everyone's getting private
Everybody's
dances.
doing all kinds of weird shit, but we're all tuned in.
Or I just hop on my magic unicorn and, you know, make sure my feet were in the stirrups correctly, and I would fly my Pegasus to wherever you guys are.
That would be cool.
Jake would just become a camp
or just
guy.
take the helicopter. Bring the helicopter.
Now that would even be better, right? Because now we've got millions, right? And I'm not a Grinch. I would share with you guys and go, but you'd have to do weird, creepy stuff with me. It wouldn't be like I'm coming over to watch, you know, Dancing with the Stars and eating casserole with you. I mean, I'd do it once just to say I did. But other than that, it'd be like, all right, Matt, we're gonna do the podcast.
What would be the weird thing? God, I'm dying to find out.
Oh no,
what
dude,
the weird thing would we do?
Well, the weird thing is what my life is, which is strip clubs, or we'd do one from Vegas. We'd fly to Vegas, and the FedEx truck would pull up, and all the equipment would be out, and we'd set it up, and we'd go
wherever,
get horribly drunk, and
record it.
They have legal weed now. We'd go and we'd do an Amsterdam like trip through Vegas, and then we'd podcast the crazy adventures of everything we did. I would still do that. I would I would do a couple of those and go, dude, that's a lot of work. I'm just going to go to the landing strip and get really banged up and try and crank a bartender.
Go run a boat, yacht down in Florida.
Then it just becomes the Matt and Nick podcast, observing Jake. Well, we're here where Jake's pretty smashed still. We're just going to kind of talk about what he's doing. Oh, he's taking his shirt off.
No, I really don't have.
I don't have his Crocs off. Oh my God,
dude,
he's sticking a toe in a beehole.
You know what? I think I'm going to get Crocs here. I was griping about my loss of. I was griping about my loss of flip-flops, and the Crocs are your winter flip-flops, right? They're not a shoe. They're weird. They're like the spork of shoes.
Sure.
They're like a flip-flop hybrid.
That's what he's going to do if he wins. He's just going to buy a bunch of Crocs and go to the strip club in them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people say, "Oh, I would stay working." Yeah, bullshit.
Nah,
I call bullshit.
Yeah, unless you really, really that's what gets you off, man. It's just a
no,
means to an end.
I'd be like, "Hey, thanks, I'm out."
Well, it's funny because
you got to get your financial planner in line. You got to get your lawyer in line.
Dude,
it's funny what
it's
you
pretty
do.
easy. The amount of interest you make off it sitting in the bank and just live your normal life.
You just hit the proper channels because everybody and their brothers are going to be coming knocking on the door.
Have you asked me to borrow money? Ask me to borrow $20 right now.
No, I won't.
No, I'm not going to give it to you. No, sorry about your luck.
Well,
I'm tight,
such
bro.
A humanitarian.
I could care less. You've got thumbs.
What's that mean?
You've got thumbs. You can open a door. You can do a million things with your. If you've got opposable thumbs, bro.
You really want the $20,
Matt? Try and cap the geyser.
That all jokes aside, that's what Jake would be doing if he had that much money. He'd be seeing how far he could push everyone to do weird stuff for like $3,000 that day.
It'd be a bizarre fear factor every day in life.
That would be awesome.
Eat this poop out of my hand right now.
That's not funny.
Yeah, that's not funny. I've had a lot of poop. My dogs have been having issues.
I don't know. You put a turd in front of me right now with $5,000 sitting next to it. I'd probably eat the turd.
Go get $5,000 right now.
I told you how much I haven't been to the bank. I will go.
The podcast views would go up.
I would eat either of your guys.
Would you smoke a turd?
That is horrible. Anything else go on in the? I feel like
water.
Oh no! The what we were gonna talk about it the other day, but we were too tired and we forgot the I-75 kids. Right? Was it 3 or 4?
They made national news.
4 or 5.
Well, of course, but yeah.
4 or 5 Rugrats were playing on a bridge.
Idiots.
Threw a nice big size rock down.
6-pounder.
Yeah. Hit a windshield. What the guy did he swerve? I don't
know. No. He was the passenger and he ate the rock and
he died.
Yeah. Father of 4.
Yeah, and I told Nick that this isn't something new, and ironically, it would happen going out. Like if you were heading towards Jackson, if you were heading on any of those, and it seems country area, like they just don't have a lot to do, but it has something to do with Halloween. As I went on my Halloween rant yesterday, that it would be like pumpkins. Like after Halloween, they would take a pumpkin that was already done and they would drop it off, right? So it wasn't as dastardly, but people would spin out and crash and whatever. It had been like just weird things they have thrown off bridges over the years.
That's just, we used to do crazy stuff when we were kids, but you mark it up as not thinking properly and doing the wrong thing. I mean, I know in my life I've done some not shady, but I've done some stuff to where if it would have went the other way, I would have been in trouble. But it's just like
they all got tried as adults.
Yeah, I know. They just
going to
made
jail
poor decisions, man. Poor decisions.
I used to do stupid stuff like that. You know, I'm sure everyone that's lived near train tracks and didn't have iPads growing up used to mess around with trains a lot.
Oh my gosh, we put bikes across the tracks.
Yeah, I used to put
pennies and tape stuff.
That was a blast. Not even thinking about accidentally
derailment. Yeah, right. You know, with toxic waste. It's not good. You know, I mean, me and my cousin, we threw snowballs on cars on telegraph.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily a 6-pound rock, but
it's I don't know. It's some weird, you know, kid mentality of just, you know.
But when you throw a snowball and hits a cop car, then you have to run fast.
Yeah.
FYI.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a good time.
Okay. I've got something, and it's weird. It's just bizarre how my mind works. There was and I've been giving a shout out to these guys, and I've been using a lot of their stuff. So I guess it's probably good that I give them, you know, a fair amount of notice. But on the Bachelor Pad Radio Facebook page, I've been 'cause we are guys, right?
Okay.
I keep posting a bunch of the 'cause we are guys stuff, and it's funny because simply one little post, and I'm like, oh, look at that, and whatever, and it brings back, and it there's a meme that before the internet, the 1989 Sears catalog could get the job done, and it had a bunch of chicks in, you know, really cool lingerie and whatever. So it brought back. It was kind of funny because I had made mention of it, and I was like, dude, when I was sick the other day, and I made a number 2 and then, you know, a -1 of the almost throw up, and he was like, oh, you almost had to do the poop and puke, and I was like, poop and puke is a thing. I go, it's funny that you mention that, because some of my first getting to know myself times, not the first, but when it was happening on a regular basis, once I got to know a little, you know, I'd shaken hands with myself a couple times.
Yeah, hung out with Jill.
I did the poop and pull because my family on both sides were super, super invasive.
Yeah.
So they're super, super invasive, and there were no locks on my doors.
So you had to make it stink.
So I would go in there, and sometimes I wouldn't, but I lived with, you know, aunts, and, you know, there was always in every episode, or not every episode, in every, you know, magazine from Cosmopolitan, there would be a nip slip. So giving my personal regression therapy on how and why do, you know, I have a nipple fetish that is second to none. And it's funny because I would look through a Cosmo, and then boom, there'd be something with either a see-through bra or the girl would be turned sideways and like one nip would be exposed, and that's all it took for me to work it out. So the fact that the lingerie, the Sears catalog lingerie thing was kind of funny. They were good, never a nip slip, maybe a see-through, maybe. But I would sit there, and even if I didn't have to drop a deuce, I would sit there and, you know, play with old Thomas the Train there and get the job done, and enough to where my parents were like, are you okay? We should maybe take you to the doctor. You've been using the restroom a lot.
Yeah, he takes 40-minute dumps 3 times a day. Something's getting weird here.
And the weird thing was, even with having roommates, and whatever, as you know, sometimes I'm in there, and I would always keep either Playboy or Hustler or whatever, you know, underneath the cabinet, and sometimes, you know, minus girlfriend, they would be right on top of the commode.
Yeah.
And it would just be sit down, peruse through a mag. If the mood was right, you know.
So do you still hold on to that habit today, with your phone in your hand while you're in there pooping?
No, I haven't. I will pre-think a wank. And I'll be in there like, oh, maybe I should. When I'm done with this, I'm gonna have to go. You know, I'm gonna have to go take care of business.
Some about pooping really gets this guy worked up.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I don't. My britches.
The smell of your own poop is like a flashback to
no.
being a kid.
I mean, my britches were down. So the poop and pull, that was something I would like to trademark. That I would like the poop and pull. I can't be the only one. I'm not the only front wiper on the planet, and I'm also not the only poop and puller. What about you there, Tiger Cap. Did you have any? How did you? Because you had a sister and mom and dad. You had a house full. How did young Matt find himself?
A lot of alone time downstairs.
So you were a basement shuffler?
Well, yeah, because that's where my bedroom was.
Okay.
So
cave dweller.
Yeah, I just.
Do you remember the days of?
Oh yeah.
Of using whatever like it.
Well, it was HBO After Hours.
Oh, okay.
Anything
that's a good premium
past
to have.
When did you start whacking it? When you were like 14? What about 12 or whatever?
I don't. You know what? I have a bad memory. My short long term stuff is sometimes.
Yeah.
I want it. Maybe.
Could be the drugs. What are you doing with your nose over there?
I got it.
My short-term memory.
I don't know.
I'm melting down, bro. Don't touch me.
No. I just remember a lot of HBO, a lot of cable.
Yeah.
Okay. And, well, my dad. My dad had the Playboy guy. Kid across the street had one. He'd come out. Hey, look at it. Oh my God, look what we see, boobs. But
But you didn't find or have any stashed in the basement.
I had it in the garage. I had them everywhere. But I basically, it was before bed.
But no weird obscure nothing. No,
straight up.
God,
just going to town.
You guys ever do the banana trick as a kid?
God, I love these youngsters. There's nothing that 10 or 15 years.
Banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah. Okay. What did you do with the banana, Johnny Depp?
All right.
If you say you heated it up in the microwave, I'm gonna be pissed.
Okay, well, that's part of the process.
Son of a bitch.
So hold on. Okay, so this is being innovative, and of course I heard this from a friend. I think in probably middle school, back before the Johnson was too big to. I'll explain the dilemma here. So basically, you take a banana, right, which has a pretty unique consistency. If you were to smush a banana up in your hands and
okay,
feel a banana.
Wow.
All right, so hear me out here. So you take.
Is this gonna be like a twice baked potato?
So you kind of So you take the banana, right, and you cut off before it gets to the end, before it gets to the little stem at the end.
So we're working on an opening. Okay.
This is a clean, precise cut. The next step is to wrap the entire thing in duct tape. Okay. The very next. This is
MacGyver.
Yeah,
Did you do this while watching MacGyver with a Sears catalog open? Jesus.
So the next step after you duct tape the whole thing and you have the end cut off is you put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. Get it all nice and warm. When it's out, it's all kind of loosey-goosey. And so what you do is you take the banana, now it's all duct tape, so it's not going to fall apart on you, and you squeeze the banana out of it. So now you just have this warm sleeve wrapped in duct tape.
Wow.
And if you
someone took time.
Yeah.
Studied this.
So this was
dude. I know people that didn't make like basement bongs.
This is trial and
that
error.
Took this long, like 2-liter bongs or whatever. So you're.
Or how about the Coke, the little pop can with the punch the holes?
Well, because so what I heard, the legend had it that it felt before you lost your virginity. If you wanted to know what that felt like, you could do this trick, and it was like feeling the inside of a woman. So you'd use it as like before fleshlights existed. You used that as a little crank and dump. So I did it probably 2 or 3 times ever, and it was.
You did.
Well, it's kind of a mess because it's a banana. You can only imagine how durable a banana is gonna be when.
Yeah, you had to have a very thin, like 7th grade penis to do this.
Well, I was a late bloomer. I didn't hit puberty till 8th grade. So
Marlene says, dude with an apple, not a banana.
She said apple. She said apple pie.
Apple pie.
Oh no!
Oh no! Facebook down.
I locked it. Do you have a password on here?
Maybe the screen shattered.
Marlene chimed in and broke the internet.
Marlene turned it up the notch with the apple pie.
She knows our secret. Down.
No, she knows your secret.
Well, okay. So what happened was it eventually was not able to do it, and my friend was like, "You could find jumbo bananas," and then it wouldn't work anymore. But the thing is you'd stick it in and it would just fall apart because it's you're
gonna rip the seam.
Ripping it open. but it felt great for like it felt really great and tight for like the minute that you could do it.
Oh my god,
Holy
dude! I have not cranked a fruit.
I never even thought about it. Do you eat the banana first?
No, you just disregard it, man. No,
Or do you
there's
chop it up
did you
and put it
hollow
in?
out the banana, or did you just like plug through?
Once you
He rang it out like a freaking.
once
like
you microwave it and it's already wrapped in duct tape, the duct tape like
The
seals.
duct tape part is creeping me out.
Yeah.
I
So-
know, because
but that
someone's like,
keeps
it needs some duct tape.
But that keeps it together because banana peels will just break. So if you have the shell that you can
Well, wait a
squeeze out
minute,
the
it breaks.
banana.
Well, how bad are you fucking cranking on it? I mean, to break the walls of the banana.
I mean, imagine how easy it is to peel a banana. It's pretty easy. You don't exert much force to do so. I mean, imagine a horny 13-year-old going to town on it. There was a kid that I went to high school with that supposedly would make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Okay.
Put it in between.
Okay.
Put it in between like the crack in his couch, and just bang that. He would bang a sandwich. So
Like I can't lie. Like I haven't like humped a couch cushion in my day, right?
Well, who hasn't? But
Right. I mean, that's a thing. I mean, that happens. And look, ladies, and we've got Marlene here or whatever.
Yeah, great to have the ladies chiming in.
No, dude, she is a cool bout it chick. She is like, one day she needs to come out and get on the.
She doesn't like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, no, dude, who in that?
No, not the PB&J.
That's what she said.
No, it's such a simple sandwich, and you put your man parts
I
in
can
it.
never have a PB&J again.
He's gonna have a nightmare about eating a pizza. Like it's
Do you
just an old child.
Do you cut the crust off before you bang it?
I never did that part. I never banged the sandwich.
Do you use a multi-grain bread?
Yeah,
a white.
I would
bread
assume you want the white cause it's
for you
softer.
racist guys. It's a white bread.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, you can get some rye bread if you want.
oh my god.
He's gonna be having a dream tonight about
This is
just being a
messed
child
up.
at like a park eating a sandwich, and then he's gonna get like a
Or how about just when you're walking down the park and you see little Jimmy eating a sandwich, you're like, that's a good looking sandwich, son.
Yeah, that's how weird. But
weird.
that's how weird, bizarre fetishes like
know.
are born.
Don't point at me. You were the one that brought it up.
No,
You're like,
you're the one talking
he's
about
probably
looking
doing,
at it.
But he was probably doing like a test run. Like
He's sitting there looking at kids eating a sandwich.
If I say peanut butter and jelly and these guys are okay with it, it's in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna come in here. Oh, I got sandwiches for everybody.
Yeah, no, that is
She's Jake.
what.
You're gonna be making a PB&J, she says. Tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can take care of business, dude. All right, so
Hold on. A friend of mine said he worked with a coworker and said he would go and buy a ham, cut open the ham, make a hole in the ham, put it in the microwave for about 3 minutes, and he'd come home and go to town on the ham.
I was told, and dude, I kind of touched on the my girlfriend that hitched me, that made me like hitch, right? Where you're like crying in the rain, and wearing glasses and looking weird. Like, oh, the girl who did that, at one point, I was like, dude, we were arguing because she was either working busy, we were in college, and she gave me the, dude, we'll just, go grab some liver and throw it in the microwave, and you wrap the. And I was like, "What are you telling me?" I was like, "You're really telling me?"
I've never banged any type of food.
No, because I think you're taking it to a whole new weird level when you're taking like the decaying flesh of another animal, and you might as well just go hit a deer.
Yeah.
Go to town on it.
Dude, don't get me wrong. I don't like to eat liver. I'm not going to bang liver. Not like the food of choice that I have to like to bang. You know what I mean? It's not like in a real relationship. It's where I kind of have to like you to have sex with you or whatever. But yeah, she told me to go like grab go to the store, buy a liver, heat it up, and then you like wrap it around. And she was like, no, seriously, it's the greatest thing. I'm busy tonight. And I was like, you want me to go bang a liver because you're busy?
Marlene said that's borderline bestiality.
You know what? It's a splinter cell for sure.
So
okay, leading into this topic now. I guess this is what we're on.
This is where he comes up with the second part of this. Like, hey, one of these guys thinks it's okay.
Have you ever
let the banana do a job on you?
Did you ever put the banana in your ass unpeeled?
So it's very common, for women to have their toys. Have you guys ever purchased a sleeve or a fleshlight or anything in the past, decade?
Yes.
You have?
No.
I have. I have.
Actually, it was a present.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so yeah, secondhand, but you got it.
Yeah,
literally.
because I've used said fleshlight, and
What's your take on it?
You know, it was okay. There's a few bullet points here. One, they're a pain in the ass to keep clean, and
Damn it, these are things I'm gonna have to worry about with the sex robot.
Well, because imagine you want to put yourself inside of something that's not gonna give you a urinary tract infection every time you use it. So you clean it before and after.
Wear a condom when you crank it.
Yeah, sure. But then you might as well just cut all that out of the equation and just bang Jill.
Yeah, I mean the cleaning. I wanted to get when all the porn stars started sitting in the plastic mold, yeah. And the only reason I didn't get it is because I thought I would have I would develop a weird fetish for chicks with no legs, because it just goes from the vagine to 2 legs, and then
now
the belly
on
button.
Some sort of back page website looking for
amputees. Like double amputees.
Yeah,
but because you remember the magicians who used to cut the lady in half, because the bang torso goes from the belly button to the top of the legs. You know what I mean?
You're just paying magicians to come and
cut
people up for you.
Yeah, so I saw the handwriting on the wall on that one, and I went, no, I'm gonna leave. Okay, but this is creepy and it's weird, but it happened, and I haven't had this thought or memory in quite some time. Mm-hmm. There was, and it's kind of dating myself, no pun intended, because I'll be dating myself later, not with a peanut butter and jelly Sam,
but a banana.
But I will be taking myself on a date later.
It's gonna heat up a watermelon.
No,
a drill bit.
I have not. I've made it this long. I'm not cranking any fruit.
He's gonna take a small Dremel to a watermelon that he's gonna put in the oven.
It's funny that you mentioned Dremel tool, but this kid that I knew in 7th or 8th grade, he lived down the street from my grandparents, right? And one day he was like, yeah, we'll just hang out at my house. He was like, dude, his dad was whatever 70s version of Burt Reynolds, porn dude. He had Velvet Elvis painting and the dogs playing poker, had a big screen before big screens were a thing. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching Debbie Does Dallas.
Okay.
Right. And I was in Dallas, so it had some, topical points to it. Sure. But so I'm watching that and I'm like, cool. Well, there was one older kid who he was like, hey, you can't sit around and just watch this stuff. You should probably go take care of business. I was like, dude, I'm fine. I'm not going to what are we taking breaks to go to the crapper and rub one out? I was like,
he was insisting that
that. he was the ringleader of the early porn watching.
Oh, wow.
And then he was like,
ringleader.
He was like, no. I got one of these. He was like, dude, it's like a vibrator thing or whatever. It was like a handle on a handle, looked almost like a blow dryer, and on the end was this clear Pyrex tip thing where you put the front of your business in this thing, and it went, and it was weird. It was like holding a blow dryer, and it wasn't like somebody made it in the backyard, like you duct taping a banana, you creep. It was an actual thing. It was like one of the first fleshlights.
He bought this thing?
Dude, I'm sure it was the dude's dad. I'm thinking.
So what? He's just leasing it out to you guys?
I told you it was very weird and creepy. Yeah, I don't know how, but
it feels better with my juices inside of it already. Just trust me.
Yeah, no, you're taking a dark turn. We got into your
banana
sandwiches
fetish.
and bananas, but yeah, it was a weird thing to put that thing on there and whatever, and it was kind of like peer pressure, like, dude, you got to smoke this weed or you got to do whatever. And then it was weird, I wonder why I'm hypersexualized. I was, told by an older kid to go in the crapper by myself and plug my penis into this, and I'll know if you did it or didn't. I'm like, what are you, the Santa Claus? You're the Santa Claus of ejaculation? I'm in 7th grade, bro. But I did. I put my thing in the thing, and yeah, it was neat.
No, okay, so
that was the only sex toy I've ever used, myself.
In regards to the whole fleshlight thing, using it, they're riveted. You can get the whatever inside. You can pretty much choose vortex or.
Have you seen the one with the mouth, the lips? Dude, that freaked me out.
I watched a thing on how they did that. How they grabbed the the mold for that. It's kind of funny.
So no, it's cranking it is it feels great, but it was like almost too great. Like it took forever to get there. Sometimes I would just get frustrated and go to the hand. But if you finale'd inside of it, which I don't recommend doing without a condom, it was like the most uncomfortably intense feeling that you could have imagined for this scenario. It's like too much stimulus going on at once.
What is she?
She said 7 minutes in heaven. Dude, she's pretty funny.
Dude, she is one of my like favorite friend from a friend. She's like the female Matt from Redford.
Really?
Friend of a friend.
I see her face now.
No, she's cool. She has really pretty hair too.
Does she have pretty hair?
Yep. And dude, she would fit in
her?
quite epically. She
likes the woods. It's a nice picture. She does have very nice hair.
She does, dude. Her hair is neat.
She's got nice glasses.
Uh-oh.
No,
simmer down
nice.
over there.
Yeah.
No, that's very good. It's a very nice friend you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's awesome, though. But I just...
So you've received one as a gift?
Yeah, but it was just I was going hunting. The...
Okay. Why does it sound like a weird Brokeback Mountain?
Like, here, she just threw it in the suitcase.
Just in case you get bored out there.
Don't use any animals or sandwiches. So just
and instead of using the
little sleeve.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other weird apparatuses. Oh, all right. Here's another one. We were talking about going back to our, you use a J.C. Penney catalog or a Cosmo or, dude, when you brought up HBO, The Hitchhiker had boobs in it and Tales from the Crypt.
Red Shoe Diaries, remember those ones? I remember one of the better ones that I made love to was it was called Love Letters, and it had a young Jamie Lee Curtis in it.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis has got really neat boobs.
Railed by this dude.
What?
And yeah, it was like one of those after-hour B movies. And the other one, Body Heat. Excuse me, Body Heat.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll never forget those two movies. Those were those. I was like, oh my gosh, I'd like set my alarm for that.
I always watch those HBO specials where they'd go to like the whorehouses and
real sex, stuff like that.
Yeah, they never really showed too much. They showed enough, and you just kind of sit there and kind of be waiting for that 30 seconds of, okay, this is I gotta make the most of this 30 seconds really quick. Hopefully I can get to the touchdown. Nope. Okay, now it's just some dude. Okay, gotta calm down.
No, I get it. No, there was all kinds of movies. I remember. I mean, yeah.
Well, that's the funny thing when you're watching something like that, where you're just getting that small little segment of what you want to see. It's funny how you're building yourself up to be ready for that moment.
Oh yeah, no, you're waiting for that. I know boobs are coming out. Boobs are gonna show, and it's just weird, what you'll do, and I mean, tell me that the internet and the porn industry didn't fill the void because we were just, oh come on, one nip slip or she comes out in the bikini and takes off, and you get a side boob. I think I have the ability to finish on demand now because it was that whole ramp up. There it is. Boom! It's almost like you had to shoot playing Duck Hunter. Yeah. You know what I mean? When there it is.
Well, because before internet porn, it was the nip slips on the TV, or you're walking through you have a stash at your house, or you find someone's dad's stash, or you're walking through the woods and you find someone's random dump. You guys ever?
Oh yeah. Somebody had a tree fort.
Yeah. And then you just find the mother load.
And there's been all kinds of weird things that I found.
Yeah, I think that's all I have on early. But I do I tell myself I'm going to get myself some kind of cool apparatus. But
flashlights are supposed to be it though.
No, dude, they got
a flashlight that they have an attachment. You can, I don't know if you touched on this. It has a suction cup. Put it right to the wall of the shower.
Yeah,
go to town.
Well, I've seen the females who have the suction cup dildo.
Well,
I see that every day.
Yeah, they have all kinds of rigs. They have a little mount that you can stick it in. When I had one,
the accessory game is strong for the old fleshlight, huh?
Oh, dude.
Well, how do you two know this?
They got like a little night light on it.
We've dabbled in them, man. We've browsed the store, online store.
Yeah. See, I'm holding out for the Howard Stern love doll. I want the full size.
Remember the girlfriend? You go shopping every month or so.
I mean, dude, I've bought a zillion things for chicks to use and do, and me to use on them, or me to
or them to use. Even to say that so bad.
The ripcord.
Yeah, no,
the grenade.
No, and we had the conversation. Okay, let's get off ourselves. That sounded horrible. Let's get off of that. And all right, tell me, have you guys had the Sneaky Pete accidental whoop finger in the bad place from a female?
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah, of course.
On purpose.
Yeah, you now see me. He requested
no,
dude, we're on our third date. Would you please insert your finger? Like what? Dude, mine came. I'm ticklish back there. I have never said I want any shenanigans or whatever. I was with my chick, and we didn't really smoke weed or whatever, and my roommate had like half a joint, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll smoke. So we sat there, and it was like the day or two after Valentine's Day, which I did a bunch of cool like romantic Valentine stuff, which I did it once. It was never reciprocated, so I was like, screw you, I'm not, no more rose petals and crap, right? So when we were doing our shuffle, she was like, tell me when you're about to. We've never had the conversation. I figure she's just going to hop up and how you mentioned the accidental, eye shot, that she was going to get up and, clean up the situation, before it happened. She was going to be proactive. So I said, okay, I tap her, I give her the UFC, tap out. She hops off and goes, and looked at me, and she was like, yeah. And I went, yeah. Oh, and I begin to lose bodily function. And she went, whoop.
Oh, added the extra.
Now, mind you, like blue lights shot out from my feet, like, whoom. And mind you, I was a little bit buzzed. But that happened, complete, like, convulsion, couldn't speak. Probably the best, like, male orgasm, because we ejaculate most of the time, right? That's what we do.
Yeah, but
this was a thing. And she, and she was a good girl. She cleaned up the situation and did whatever. And so she, looked up at me and went, how was that? And whatever. And I looked down at her and I went, I was like, number one, what made you think that was okay? Number two, if you ever do that, I will punch you right in the forehead like a man. I was like, dude, I am so... And, she was like, what? Well, you didn't like it? I was like, no, that may have been the coolest thing I've ever felt, but it was kind of rapey. Again, going to, segment number 4 where Jake was, forcibly something would happen to me.
Rapey.
So, yeah, it was really weird and creepy. And I was like, dude, I'm ticklish back there. That was not cool. That was totally not like, I don't know, like my girlfriend said you would like it. And I was like, remind me to, to pee on their door handle.
Well, okay. So I figured out the potential of said magic finger. There was only 2 relationships I ever had where it was utilized and I was comfortable and it was cool, I usually will veer away. I don't like anything down there. But there was, 2 chicks that I was super comfortable with that happening, and it was every time the craziest orgasm of my life. Like,
that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, it's you got your prostate, it's a G-spot, for a reason. And I didn't think I was going to like it, but it would kind of go with oral, right? So it would be paired. And that was the crazy thing, is because there's 2 things going on. It's confusing your brain. And
nervous, like, scared, but excited.
Yeah, it's like that was the thing. It was like taboo. It was like, oh, this is so weird, and then it felt so great. And you always get that little wave of shame going past after, like, oh, there was something up my butt. But, but that's another part of detaching yourself from the ego and not really caring about it. If both parties are comfortable and it feels cool and you both
that
like
would mean
it,
both people would be cool. That's a bad place. I don't like what goes on down there.
I'm comfortable enough with my own back door. I don't bidet it and wax it and bleach it like the
like the stars or whatever.
Yeah, but I know that I keep it. If it's been a long day and I know that don't go down there.
Wait a minute. Finish that statement because I thought, it's been a long day. I'll just go home and just ram something up my butt. That's what I thought he was going to go.
No, like if it's been a long day and I know that it's no man's zone down there, it's DayZ. You should not be in there. I will not let anything, even my own self, like near it unless it's to wipe. I won't give it a scratch. I won't even open the doors.
Yeah, that is trippy. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, still to this day. I mean, I've been taken advantage of. I had an Asian lady.
We've seen that, Jake. We've all realized your poor little moments.
All right, what about the pretend you work at the Olive Garden and you're working on the salad bar? Have you ever I had that done. No, I had that done to me unbeknownst. You want to talk about
freaking?
Yes, and it scared me, and no conversation, and she barely spoke English, and it was her thing, and she really liked it.
Well, you got to let her have her thing sometimes.
Yeah, I was afraid I was going to clinch and lock her tongue in there and have her trailing behind me like a semi-trailer with the double,
Gotta have EMS come unlatch her tongue from.
Don't get me wrong. I will do the other, right? You're only an inch and a half away, right? As long as everything is, clean and properly taken care of. I have no problem with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, as far as leave that stuff alone. There's the one solid area that needs to be dealt with.
So on the contrary, do you like performing that act on a lady?
That's what I said. I was like, I do it, and it's only an inch and a half away. That's what that whole conversation was prior to that. Yes.
Well, I mean, but do you enjoy doing that?
That's not where the focus is. Like, hey, you know what? I'm going to forget about that stuff that's 2.5 inches to the north, right? I'm going to focus on Mexico here all of a sudden. Canada being the clitoris.
That was slightly. You just compared Mexico to the butthole.
I just, in my mind's eye, it just went.
Okay, we're just talking in
North
terms
America.
of region, right?
Yeah,
okay.
North America. That
not that they're literally
Marlene
the
says
butthole.
the backdoor man is stuck in her head now, and she says, "Dude seemed pretty cool with it."
Yeah, no, that's a very free individual, Marlene. He's okay with a lot.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm not like do whatever to me. I got my boundaries. I'm not like
I'm not gonna go get a red ball harness set anytime soon.
I don't want to get straddled. I don't want someone to come home.
He's got the GIMP outfit at home.
The GIMP suit.
Okay, all right. Let me pose this as hopefully one of the last. I had a friend. This starts out a lot like Matt.
I know this guy.
No, dude, it was a friend of mine, and he came and he was like, dude, there's this chick. She's smoking hot, dude. She's whatever. We've had sex a couple times, and everything's cool. But man, she wants to do something weird. And I was like, what weird? I was like, dude, if she's hot, it doesn't matter weird. And he was like, no, it's pretty weird. I was like, what? She wants to put on like a strap on and crank him. And I went, you've got to be out of your mind. I was like, you told her no, right? And he went, no. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking that's kind of why I'm talking to you. And I was like, why are you talking to me about it? I was like, on the off chance if you were even going to go down that road,
Don't tell your buddies.
Don't tell your buddies, right? Just take that to the grave with you. Like maybe write a note, put it in a capsule, put it in the ground. And he was like, yeah, I don't know, man. She's just so hot. And I went, that's disturbing. Like you're debating this. And I'm fairly certain he mentioned that it happened and then never spoke of it again. So he took my advice after the
well, okay, I'm like a very, you know me from this conversation just the past 5 minutes. I'm like one of those try everything once, try everything twice. If you hate it, then you hate it. I mean, if it's gonna bug you to the point where you're like, no, don't do that. It's gonna really ruin me. Then don't do it. But like, if you're curious, like in the instance of your friend right there, just let him go do it, man.
Oh no, you can do. He asked my opinion. My opinion was no. What are you looking at?
Oh yeah, that's That's my friend Livy. She's chiming in. She must have saw the
She's in, yeah.
We've always known that about you,
She
Nick.
chimed in. All she saw on the podcast was Mexican and butthole.
She's the one that. She's the one that
that's
actually.
why she's in.
She's the one that showed me the green dot, whatever the place is called. And then Marlene commented. She said, "No judgment, but if I ever meet you, be prepared."
Oh. Well, I have to
she-
show you a video then at that point.
That's somebody. They know you're not ticklish
guess
back
what,
there, buddy.
Big boy, you get yourself a date.
Marlene's gonna come in. Like
Marlene says she's dying laughing. She's rolling.
she's
she
gonna
said.
come.
Well,
in like a
this is the
NFL.
greatest thing. This is what happened with the radio show. That obviously most of the things we talk about, except I can understand how this would be comical and funny to females, but our show is extremely male driven, and people are like, "Are you worried that your show is going to be too male focused?"
We go off every which way. It don't
But
matter.
what I found is the female listeners started piling up and calling in and doing stuff, and I was like, holy crap, women like to. This is like us sitting around and listening to a bunch of chicks talk about sex and weird stuff, and we have no shame, or at least Nick does.
Yeah, I will say anything now. I don't care.
Well, good. Ladies, this is your job now. You need to share this with friends and start like a weird lady cult following, because we do this every night live at like 9:30, so Monday through Friday. So if you can get other ladies, and if you chime in questions, we will answer, right? This is kind of like the truth serum hour.
Oh boy.
That if you chime in, with some stuff, we will take your stuff and we will take it into a topic if that's the case.
Jake will take your stuff.
I have been known to take some stuff. I like stuff. I need to get out this weekend, dude. I did not do anything. I feel like caged animal.
Oh I'm same here. Definitely, I'm getting down this weekend. Daddy's.
You need to come out with me on Saturday.
I already have something going on Saturday night. We got playoffs on Friday, and then Saturday.
What are you doing Saturday?
Marlene knows what I do on a Saturday. It's the same thing I've been doing for the last 3 years. I drive to Romulus and I drink Jameson and act a fool and then go home. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it will be landing strip. Oh, and speaking of that, I probably should push since we've done a few things for the US 12. Oh, the US 12, all that stuff's going on. Yeah.
Oh, did you talk to them today?
I did not. I would have identified that I didn't have a voice earlier if I would have spoken to anyone.
Know if I could come talk at your bar.
Yeah, no kidding.
They're like, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, you're wearing your Halloween, or do you have your horse head mask on? Dude, I need to source a horse head mask. I'm really into it.
Easy.
But the Landing Strip Lounge, the Hollywood Halloween, Friday, October 27th. Dress up in a costume and get in free. Cash prizes for 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place. And the Landing Strip is 36431 Goddard Road, Romulus, Michigan, or 1-800-2-RUNWAY, or thelandingstriplounge.com. So I will probably be between the 12, or maybe split it with the US 12 on Friday and Saturday at the...
Got to do them both.
Yeah, because I'm not going to dress up anyways. So what's the point of going to...
Was it last night that we were talking about the horse head, me and you?
Yep.
Did you hear anything about that? He's got this weird fetish. He wants to bang a chick.
I was too busy trying to find water.
Where? First world problems.
You mean you had to drive to the store?
Yeah.
They were all out.
You could have driven to the next city over.
They were all out.
I'll come over. I'll bring you some
And
water
what
bottles.
but
man.
what was
seriously, they ran out of water. I was at the store at 5:30 in the morning.
Well, it's because
They were gone.
Yeah.
Everything was gone.
What did you need water for? Because
Just-
water is found in other things.
Yeah, no, water for bathing, washing, flushing, drinking, cooking, living.
Well, flushing, you can still use the water
Aquaman.
that's there.
No, there was no water. They shut it down.
They shut it down?
They clamped it down. There was no trickling.
They clamped it like the tongue in your beehole.
Yeah. No.
No,
that
like
little
the
Asian was
banana
the
in
devil.
your anus.
It was never shoved anywhere. That would
All
be
right, look.
ridiculous.
Can we make a pact that we go home and bang something in our house and come back and talk about it tomorrow? Like, can we find something weird to? Can we find something weird to crank around the house
That we've
and come
never
back?
cranked.
Dude, I've never cranked.
I'm running out of stuff, guys.
Yeah, no kidding. You're gonna have
Shit
to,
all around the house.
dude. How about the backyard? Like, I think I'm ready to bring some plants in from the backyard. Like,
I'm gonna stick an eggplant up my exhaust. And
oh, you know what I was gonna mention? I had a crank at about 1:15. I pulled.
the timestamp you got for your crank.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I should catch a nap because I'm not feeling well and whatever. But I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and pull on this thing. And I actually was going to use, because I had a chick that I talked to like a year ago, and she was like, you don't use lotion and whatever? And I'm like, no.
I don't either.
I was like, my hand, it's whatever, it's fine. I know how to get myself where I need to go. But I actually pulled the lotion out and was going to use, and I was going to do the lotion. And I cranked it out and forgot that I had the lotion. When I got up to actually get in the shower and go to work, I got up and as I stood up out of my bed, the lotion went flying because it was on my, my comforter or whatever. I stood up and I was like, balls, totally forgot to use the lotion.
What a quandary.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was bad. So that was my
to use the lotion.
That was my pre-day crank.
Yeah, thank you for
But seriously,
that's
dude, do you
Drake
know how
driving.
happy the people will be if we talk about some weird inanimate object
We
or
should just start-
living fruit that you cranked on the way home?
Or fruit, or going to the sex shop and sponsoring a.
It's 11:12. What are you?
Right
Who's?
now.
What?
We still have
Down the
to.
road.
We still have yet to complete the grapefruit challenge.
Oh, ask Marlene if she knows about the grapefruit challenge. If not, tell her to Google.
You just asked her, basically.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Hell.
yeah. I forget.
You
Although,
ever grapefruit anyone, Marlene?
and it was in the movie. It was in the movie Girls Trip, which I advise ladies watch it. It's funny. I watched it. It was funny. But grapefruiting, it's a thing. So I'm gonna try and I don't know. I'll try and get creative. I think I got one more in me before the night's out.
I haven't.
I'm gonna go home.
I
And,
haven't cranked today. I didn't have time.
yeah, I make time. I got to, dude. You guys don't want to,
on the way home.
Yeah, Matt.
That's what I got.
You give yourself the road.
The road.
Hey,
Which is great. With before the fleshlight, the pocket pussy was a thing.
Sure.
And my buddy was like, "Yeah, dude, I take it to work like on break. I fucking put on the pocket pussy, dude. It does all the work." And I'm like, I swear to God, like he would tell me like the chronicles. It was like the Travelocity gnome where he used the pocket pussy in random places.
The sisterhood of the traveling pocket pussy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
So it is weird, but I'm gonna wrap it up just like Nick should have when he banged his flashlight to to protect his cleanliness.
Yeah, whatever.
But I really gotta pee. So
Hey, look
what?
Nothing. Your
What?
friend. Look what she wrote right there.
What did you write?
Which friend?
Well,
Yours.
Which one? To crank that soldier boy?
Look at the one before that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna kill
Sorry.
YouTube Live. Facebook Live is still on. Is that where you're still on?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna pee.
Sorry.
There will be kind of like Bill Maher, like the after show. I'm gonna go pee.
We'll talk about what's going on.
I'll see if I can't find something to put my penis in the back
right,
room.
There might
But-
be a mop bucket.
That's right. All right, so this is the Bachelor Pad Radio, YouTube, all that stuff. Later YouTube, Facebook Live will still be going on if anyone wants to have an intimate talk with Nick and
Let's see
Crazy Matt.
how intimate you guys can get.